Hey there, Rachel. I'm super tired. This is about the fifth time I've tried doing this morning, and it's silly late here, so I'm probably going to miss out loads of points. I thought I'd send you a video reply so you can see how shiny and bald my head is. But also, I know that when I read stuff that's close to my heart, it's very easy to pick out undertones of malice or anger or stuff like that, which isn't there. But I'd hope you'd know me better than that anyway. But yeah, it's just to cover my own back, really. Thanks for all your comments. I posted a picture which kind of gave a strong indicator that I doubted any kind of form of spiritual healing. Uh, Now, I don't for 1 minute doubt the conviction or sincerity of people who do believe in it, and I'm not saying that they're wrong and I'm right. It's um, it's an issue I've struggled with, and something that I've tried to unpack and question. And this is just merely where my thinking's brought me. Um, so I'm not picking on anyone or anything like that. For me, the first thing I'd had to do was look at how Jesus heals and the stories behind Jesus' healing and all that kind of stuff. Um, and what I found is there was no uniqueness to it. There was nothing which separated Jesus's healings from stories historically that predate Jesus in some cases by up to 4,000 years. Um, so if I was looking for one unique way, or sorry, if I was looking for one truth, I would expect to see some kind of uniqueness in there, which I don't find in the Christian healing stories. Um, in fact, I think I'm paraphrasing here. I don't have any scripture with me, uh, but there's a strong suggestion at the beginning of Jesus' ministry that he couldn't heal in his own town, and his healing was based on the strength of others believing in him, rather than the other way around. Which for me would also suggest there's some kind of psychosomatic qualities to his healing process. In that, if you believe something to be godly, if you believe something to be the only way, it's very easy to be healed through that process, um, especially of things like limps, bad backs, and skin conditions. The Bible talks a lot about leprosy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that in the truest sense. Psoriasis, eczema, they all fall under the category of leprosy. Um, and we know that they can be healed in the loosest sense, by people being in a place of peace, by people being relaxed, by people getting rid of anxiety. Now, I'm not doubting that the Christian faith doesn't bring that to people, um, but clearly other belief systems do bring that to people as well. And even, in atheism, people can find a place or a sense of peace, and that will alleviate those afflictions. So again, that to me would evidence that there's nothing miraculous within that process. We know that we can achieve that. Um, I also wanted to look at how prayer is answered and how miracles are answered amongst the other beliefs, because I know there's a lot of Christians would say that yes, you can get healing through other means, but it's not true healing unless it's from Jesus. Now, when we look at the lead religions, so Christianity, Judaism, Islam, I'm going to chuck spiritualists in there as well for a very valid reason. Um, we see the same number of prayers being answered. There isn't really sort of like this graph where one belief is ahead of the other, and we see the same in miraculous healings as well. Now, again, for me, if there was going to be one true way, I would expect to see one religion or one belief system superseding the others. To me, that would make sense. Um, what we do find is a spiritualist movement have a higher level of miraculous healing than any of the other religions. but that kind of makes sense because that's what that belief system is based on. Um, but it's also pretty much recognised the world over that the spiritualist movement is fraudulent. And again, because they deal with a lot of psychosomatic afflictions and healings that anybody can achieve without any spiritual process at all. Just to back that up, when I was a Christian, I believed that I'd healed some people. I might touch on that a bit later. Um, but here at work, I have kids coming in who have very poor posture. Some of them have limps, some of them have twitches, and these are psychosomatic issues. They're stuff which I do self-esteem work with these kids, and I see these placebo health issues vanishing. I say placebo because they're not. There's nothing medically wrong with them. They're absolutely sound and fine. It's all based around self-esteem. Now, I think it's very important when we see people being healed or witness people being healed or hear stories about people being healed. It's very important to understand was there a genuine medical issue there in the first place? Deafness as well is actually another common one. Which can be fixed through self-esteem. Spiritualists again very hot on healing limps and deafness. You mentioned, I think you mentioned somebody you knew who had had their leg or actual bone matter um, grow. Um, Again, I don't. I'm trying to be careful with my words because I don't want to say that that person's a liar or anything like that. Uh, but I've been exploring this for about a year and a half, possibly a little bit longer, and in medical terms and in scientific terms, bone cannot grow back. It it just doesn't happen. There's no recorded examples of it happening at all. Now, if it does happen, we'd have to say that's a huge conspiracy against Jesus from many people in the medical world, in the scientific world, from many different walks of life who have chosen to ignore this stuff going on. Now, they've got no reason to do that. It makes sense that they would announce this, that they would declare it. If somebody's got a genuine medical condition where one leg is shorter than the other and they've witnessed, bone actually growing, that that is a genuine miracle. It really is. And from my point of view, that's something I think that they would be, celebrating and highlighting rather than choosing to ignore. We don't see that. Um, we don't see limbs growing back. There's no medical journals which involve stuff like that. And then if we look at, yeah, I'm using extremes here because I think it's important to use extremes. Um, we don't see sort of like car crash victims being healed, um, or say soldiers, people who've been shot. So from my perspective, what we have is this view of Jesus here in the West. This God who will find people parking spaces, get them into universities, remove migraines, and all that kind of stuff. Yet seems to have some kind of limited ability when it comes to healing. Why would he do those things for us in the West? And trying to think of an example, you've got thousands of children in Rwanda suffering from AIDS, born with AIDS, nothing of their own fault, and again, we don't see these kids being healed, which would raise, well, not would, it does raise very big questions for me. Um, I think, oh gosh, I think it's very easy to see a truth in something when we've already sort of like processed what the answer is. Something's already our firm held belief, and something happens. We will look to see the truth in that situation. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to think of a good example. Um, Probably about 5 years ago, I went to a healing meeting up in Totley, and there was a lady there with breast cancer. Um, I prayed for her, and a few other people prayed for her, and she came back 2 weeks later, and she was healed, and for me, I was like, wow, this is this is absolutely incredible. And she was very much the same. And we put the answer to that being on a faith. What we didn't take into consideration, and it's stupid now when I look back on it, is the fact she'd been going through chemo for about 8 months and various other medications and pain and all this kind of stuff. And I kind of have to ask myself the question. It's like, if she didn't have that medication, would the prayer have worked? Would she have been faith healed? My current thinking is I very much doubt it. Um, and I do think it's right that Christians or people of any other belief don't uh, tell people not to take their medications, just based on the fact that they're being prayed for. But it does seem that for a group of people who believe in faith healing, um, the faith healing is secondary, and the modern medication is primary. Which again, I don't know. To me, that just seems a little bizarre. Yeah, just quickly touching on mindsets as well. I was reading a story recently uh, about a lady who had a piano in her house, and this piano was playing at certain months of the year, uh, only in the evenings. I'd find that really eerie. That's kind of scary stuff, isn't it? And but she was involved in spiritualism, and she believed in angels and the like, and she had various, I can't think of the right name for them, but various professional people come out and run a series of scientific tests on the house, measuring sort of like the humidity, expansion of walls, furniture, all that kind of stuff. And they decided that the house was getting significantly hot during the daytime, cooling down rapidly in the evening, and this was causing the piano strings to randomly play in the evening. Um, she wasn't too happy with this answer. She had a spiritualist come round who explained to her that when angels are close by, they play the piano as a sign of happiness. Now, to you or I, that might seem stupid, but to her, that was her withheld belief. That's what she sincerely felt, and it matched up with her mindset and what she believed truth to be. And I just found that a very interesting thought, because I think, if we're honest, I think we see that in all faith systems. Sometimes it's very easy to be presented with a different argument, or a different set of evidence, um, and we have a problem because we've already accepted something as the solid truth. So that evidence has to fit into what we've already decided is the truth, and if it doesn't, we have to chuck it aside, uh, which I personally believe can be quite dangerous ground. Um, and I think possibly the last thing I can remember to touch on this morning, as I say, it's really really late here, or really early, um, is that, just paraphrasing, Jesus goes on to say, that you'll go on to do greater than I, or words to that effect. I don't have any scripture here with me. Um, there's 4 billion, roughly, 4 billion Christians in the world at the moment. Now, by anybody's standards, that's a flipping lot of people, and a lot of people praying, and we don't see any clear signs of this movement cutting ahead above and beyond other movements, or above and beyond other systems of belief, and we don't see sort of like miracles and healing shooting far beyond what's recorded in scripture, which again for me poses some quite big significant questions in terms of, does Jesus heal? Not just Jesus, but is spiritual healing uh, viable? Um, and for me, currently, it's a no. I'm open to saying yes, and I'm open to currently exploring anything which is offered my way. Uh, but yeah, based on those, and currently a complete lack of medical evidence to support it, I can't see it working. Um, But hey, yeah, we'd be interested to hear your views and comments if you have any on that. That'd be really cool. So yeah, thank you. Cheers, Rach. Take care.